What is up, everyone? This is Clock Management. I'm your host, Justin, and I am not joined by Perry today. He should be back next week, but yeah, I'm doing this solo today. So I'm going to go over the waiver wire picks and who you should be snatching and maybe some players you should be avoiding. Um, First, I want to go over injuries from week 4 because obviously that matters and has significance in the waiver wire. Excuse me. The biggest one, obviously, David Montgomery. Saw him go down, looked like he's in a lot of pain. Finally got the reports back for his injury. He's out 4 to 5 weeks with a knee sprain. That's huge. Big part of the season. Sucks because he was killing it. Loved him and getting him so late in the draft. We'll get more into who's backing him up here in a minute. Jimmy G, we saw left the game with a calf bruise, which seemed odd, and I'm not sure why he couldn't come back in the game. They say he can play next week, so I think this was just an excuse to pull him out of the game. We'll see if he actually does come back next week. I don't believe so. Will Fuller had a hand injury. Haven't gotten the reports back on this. He's just a player I kind of avoid in general, but I'd be looking, if I have him rostered, I'd be looking at the injury reports closer to game day, or you could just tune back here on Sunday morning and we'll give you an update. We go live 2 hours before every game. So, all the Sunday games. So you guys could come in, get all your updates, know who to sit, who to start, all injury updates, everything. And then Teddy Roosevelt, our favorite quarterback nickname, has a concussion. So he's got to go through the process and get evaluated. It'll probably be Wednesday before we even start getting any updates on whether he's going to be good to go or not. So stay tuned and just look for those updates. Also, I just want to remind everyone, not this week, but next week, week 6 is when bye week starts. So start looking at those things when you have players, when you're setting lineups, matchups. It's going to be important. I set this and forgot to put it up. I know it's a huge deal, right? All right, now let's get into some waiver wire picks. Shouldn't be too long. I'm just going to do my top 5 players, and I'll talk about a couple other players along the way. The first one, I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. So number 5, I got Taylor Heineke. Or Heineke? I'm going Heineke. I like that more. That's what I'm going with. Yeah. All right. This kid playing his heart out. Been watching these games. He's been balling out since he took the field, taking over for Fitzpatrick. I think even when Fitz comes back, this job is Taylor's to lose. So for now, he's going to be their starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. He's available in the majority of leagues, and he is currently your QB8 from week 2 to now, which is from when he started playing. So Taylor Heineke, he's the quarterback 8, great target, threw 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You love to see that. He also rushed 5 times for 43 yards, put him over 20 points for the 3rd week in a row. So, yeah, he's ahead of quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Justin Herbert for fantasy. That's incredible. I don't think people realize that. If you're in need at the quarterback position, he's a great pickup, probably available in most leagues, in one quarterback leagues. All right, next we're going to go with another valuable position, I guess. That's the tight end position. If you have a tight end that can score a touchdown week to week, you're golden. That's all you need is a touchdown from the tight end position. And Dawson Knox is all about giving you touchdowns in your tight end position. He had 5 receptions for 37 yards and 2 touchdowns this week. That's incredible. He has 4 touchdowns on the season, and we're in week 4. He's a tight end. That's more than I think that tied his career high for a season. He's averaged over 80% of snaps since week 2, I believe. And next week they're playing Kansas City. It should be a shootout with Kansas City. So there's going to be points galore. I want part of both of those offenses, honestly. And if I could get a tight end that has a chance to get multiple touchdowns in a week, give me that. I want that. So yeah, Dawson Knox, he's a beast at tight end. He could be your tight end for the rest of the season. All right, now we're going to get into number 3, waiver wire. We're getting into the juicy parts, right? Wide receivers and running backs. These are your bread, meat and potatoes. That's the one. Or bread and butter, right? Right, Perry? So first I'm starting with the wide receiver. We got Darnell Mooney. He had 125 yards on 5 receptions. I'm not ready to put him in my lineup yet, as it was against Detroit Lions, who are probably the worst team in the NFL, unless, the Texans have something to say about that. But still, you like to see that the yardage, the targets. He had 7 targets, which was more than double than any other player on their team. Right now, he's a player I want to grab and stash to see if that connection with Justin Fields continues, because that would be incredible. If he can continue this type of production in the future, that's a guy you want on your team. But let's see if he can do it against a decent defense first. All right, now these last 2 players I got for your number 2 and number 1. But first I want to do an honorable mention. My guy, Manny Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders been seeing a ton of target share. He's been on the field almost nonstop. So go grab Manny Sanders. If you don't get Darnell Mooney, go get Manny Sanders. He's been consistent. He's going to get you fantasy points, which is great. But I prefer Darnell Mooney because I believe he has the higher ceiling, which is crazy because that was Manny Sanders' MO for the longest time. All right, so now we're getting into the running backs. You need running back depth on your team. So even if you're not running back needy, you probably need one of these guys. Latavius Murray played 63% of the snaps, which is not an incredible amount. It's not a ton. This isn't going to be a guy where that stat stands out to you. But he plays for a team that runs the ball more than 52% of the time. So his 63% of snaps played is quite a bit more than most other running backs, right? It's worth more. He got 18 carries, which is fantastic. 59 yards and a touchdown. At the beginning of the season, Tyson Williams seemed to be their favorite running back. He was leading them. He was a healthy scratch this week. That tells you a ton about how the team and the coaching staff feels about him. Seems to fall out of their good graces. That's just, not great for him, but it's great for Latavius Murray, who we've seen in the past live this role and just kill it. So I love this. If you're needy at this position, go get Latavius Murray. He should do great week in and week out with the amount that team rushes. And then we got the number 1. This is the guy that you need on your team. I don't care if you're needy at the position, whatever. You need to go put a waiver in for this guy today. That's Damian Williams from the Bears. Monty is likely out. David Montgomery is likely out 4 to 5 weeks with a knee sprain. That's what the reports are saying. Once we saw him exit the game, saw Williams immediately come in and pick up that workload. He should be getting the full workload. He had 8 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. We did see Khalil Herbert come in and sneak on the field a couple of times. I believe he had 3 rushes, but we saw Damian Williams get all the receiving work. And then, so it's not a big concern since Herbert averaged only 2.3 yards per carry. That's not good. The coaching staff obviously not happy to see that when Damian Williams was averaging, I believe it was 7 yards per carry or close to. So he should be their back just nonstop, getting all the work. And they're also going against the Raiders, who just gave up 168 yards rushing to the Chargers. That was split between multiple backs, but this should be less of a split. So I think that he should kill it. Obviously, I don't think he's getting 168 yards rushing. That's ridiculous. But he should kill it for your fantasy next week. Get him in your lineup. You could pick him up, put him in your lineup immediately. He should not disappoint. Gets the goal line work as well, so he should get touchdowns on top of that. Now, I did want to talk about the 49ers situation with Jimmy Garoppolo exiting the game. Like I said, they're not. They said he's healthy enough to start next week, but are they going to start him? Because he is healthy enough to come back into this game, right? Like he wasn't in pain on the side of the field. He was sitting there fully padded watching this game happen. They took him out because he wasn't playing well. They weren't generating offense, and they just wanted an excuse to take him out and put in Trey Lance. Now, in a one quarterback league, I'm probably not putting in Trey Lance because there's a chance he might not even be the starting quarterback, or he might not play the full game. They could go right back to Jimmy G. So I'm probably not taking that risk in a one quarterback league. But if you're in a super flex or a two quarterback league, if Trey Lance is available, you have to get him. Like you have to pick him up. And I think starting him as your second quarterback is probably advised. I would do it. I think that his upside is worth it. And you can make up those points with your other quarterback. So it's not as, if he doesn't play the entire game, then it's not as horrible for you. It doesn't put you in the grave for your matchup. And that's also Drew Lock, same thing. So you got to wait and see what's going on with Teddy Roosevelt, but Drew Lock, I mean, not the same thing because I'm not excited about Drew Lock. But if I'm in a two quarterback league, and he's available, or a super flex, I'm going to pick him up. Probably not playing him unless I'm needy, but just something to pay attention to with Drew Lock missing, or with Teddy Roosevelt possibly missing some time. Got to go check out Drew Lock. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you today. And I will be live again 2 hours prior to kickoff Sunday morning. Make sure you go to my YouTube. Quick subscribe on there helps. And we do autographed jersey giveaways all the time. So I just did one. We'll be announcing the next one here on Sunday. So tune in Sunday morning, 2 hours prior to kickoff, and find out about that.